Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. So 2/3 of our people, and I don't care what their status is, I don't give a damn how famous or how influential Jake may be on this side in this world, they're not going to make it. And we know that Shaitan, he uses, who he needs to push, certain negative, rebellious vibrations and influences. And once you're used, he disposes you. And that's why even the Lord said, what profit a man if he shall give his soul, all right? Like you giving your soul away, what's going to be that exchange, And a lot of our people, they're just like their father, the devil, very quick to, sacrifice their morale, all for the paper, for the money, for the fame, for the fortune. It says that in Sirach, the 9th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, no, the 10th chapter, around the 9th verse. It says why is earth and ashes proud? And there's nothing more wicked than a covetous man, because while he lives, he selleth his bowels. He has his bowels to sell. And that's these entertainers, the athletes, to the rap artist, to the musician. Our people are done for. And this is, they're the ones, who this devil use to push these left-hand agendas, man. So you got this nigga, ASAP Rocky, which, he was an exceptional rapper. I think he's from straight out of New York. Ain't heard much from him, in a while, but we know that him getting with that demon Rihanna, that boosted his status. All right, because she's a billionaire, and she had to do a lot of high level, witchcraft and wickedness to get to where she's at. All right, so this dude, he's clearly dark. All right, his spirit is dark. So this came out not too long ago, but he's one of the guys who tapped into the fashion world. He markets certain clothing lines. All right, he models and wear different clothing, and the fashion industry is pretty much ran by a bunch of degenerates, a bunch of Satanists, people that definitely don't believe in the Most High. And that's basically these celebrities' company, because they got to meet up with these fashion designers. They got to show up to these events like the Met Gala. Every year they have this little event. And all these entertainers that have, sold their soul to Satan, they meet up in these different clothing lines and do who knows what, right? But this is on Billboard, and they basically asked him about, I guess, Rihanna stealing his clothes without his knowledge. And we know, our women are out of order, so they're going to do what the hell they want to do. But I'm gonna just read this, and you'll see why I'm doing a response video to this. All right, because our people are just they're just wicked. You know, they're wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. So it says ASAP Rocky has a bone to pick with Rihanna in a new interview with Vogue's The Run Through podcast posted Thursday, May 1st. The rapper lamented how his famous partner is always stealing his clothes without his knowledge, not that he doesn't return the favor sometimes. The topic of Rocky and Reed's sneaky style swapping first came up as the former was chatting about being unafraid to wear traditionally feminine clothing. I do what the F I want, he told host Chaima and Leah Faye Cooper. I want to be a catalyst for daring men. So he's basically saying, I'm going to do what the hell I want to do, and I want to be used. I want to be the influence to get men to cross moral boundaries and blur that line between masculinity and femininity. That's basically what he's saying right there. I want to be a catalyst for daring men, right? He want to be perceived as somebody that's bold, or a man that's secure in his skin, all right? Basically confident. And Jake don't mind being confidently demonic. So this shows you right there how, you know, the mentality of our people, especially the ones that sold out, that sold their soul. They can give a damn about, you know, being moral. Okay. You know, once you enter that kind of industry, all morals are gone. You know, your company is with Satan. So all things go. It says, I don't know who drew the line between femininity or being feminine and masculinity. So that statement in itself is demonic and rebellious. Who drew the line between femininity and masculinity? Was it not our creator, the maker, who made man and woman? When he created male and female? That's who designed that dual nature. That's who made the difference. He said, I don't see any barriers. So let me get this real quick. This is Isaiah 5 and verse 20. And it says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. When the Lord made man, it was good. When he made woman, it was good. But when you're in this kind of industry, the way you think, all right, the demonic influence that you're up under, you know, it'll have you saying these type of bold, rebellious statements, because you pretty much denounce the Most High. You denounce the Most High's righteousness or the natural order, because your company is with Shaitan. The scriptures even say in Proverbs 12 and 26, the way of the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the ways of the wicked seduce of them. And you better believe Rihanna, with her demonic self, she's probably a handler. You know, so he gotta tap in with the dark side. He gotta, you know, dress feminine. All right. He gotta put on a skirt. She'd probably leave him if he go back to, you know, dressing like a male, a male. So Jake is just they're willingly wicked. All right, now let me grab this because it tells you that our people they'll overpass the deeds of the wicked. They'll go the extra mile when it comes to evil. Let me go to the Amplified Bible. This is Jeremiah 5:26. It says, "For wicked men are found among my people. They watch like fowlers who lie in wait. They set a trap. They catch men. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit and treachery. Therefore, they have become influential and rich." And that's these celebrities, these rich entertainers. Now, even down to these pastors, these mega pastors in the churches, they all become influential and rich because they're wicked. You know, trapping souls with their treachery, their deceit. It says they are fat and they are sleek, prosperous. They excel in acts of wickedness, and that's what takes them to the top. Is what they're willing to do. You know, for the powers that be, the ones that control that industry. It requires acts of wickedness in order for you to prosper. All right. You're not going to excel in this man's wicked kingdom if you're not willing to, go the extra mile. It says they do not plead the cause of the orphan so that they, the wicked, may prosper. That's why they don't speak on, any social issues among our people, obvious circumstances that our people are in. They can't speak on it, or they'll lose their status. They'll lose their endorsements, their fame. So they keep quiet. But when it comes to promoting wickedness, they will come out. And I'm pretty sure this nigga's probably getting rewarded, because every time Jake emasculate theyself, humiliate theyself, they get rewarded by this devil. A movie role, another endorsement, maybe another album rollout, or whatever the case may be. So there's no integrity, there's no more morals. It's all been compromised. So this is what they have to do in order to prosper. It says the cause of the orphan, so that they, the wicked, may prosper, and they do not defend the rights of the poor. So when it comes to certain real issues, they're not going to speak on that. But when it comes to promoting a wicked left-hand agenda, they got to be right there, front and center. So all these niggas are compromised. They're bought and paid for. They sold out, and they all worship Satan. Okay. Matter of fact, let me pull this up. It's a lot. You go to let me type it in, Rick Owens. Now this dude right here, this demon, he's a fashion designer, and he's also a Satanist. All right, and him and his demonic wife, all right, they control that industry. They show up at these type of events like the Met Gala. All right, they they do business with these people that control the fashion in that industry. And then you also got the Satanists like what's that chick name? She does what they call the soul cooking. Marina Abramovich. They all run in the same circles. Okay. So guys like A$AP Rocky and Pharrell and all these different entertainers, these rappers, they have to they have to be in company with these people, and they have to wear whatever it is that they, are pushing, so that you can model it to the youth. All right, they want to turn these youth, turn this generation into a generation of weirdos, trying to blur those lines, man. Men can get accustomed to wearing things that are more feminine. And they push this heavy towards you tribes. That's who they really aim for when it comes to this demonic influence. So anyway, let me play this video. So you'll see why somebody like a ASAP Rocky would say the shit that he's saying. This is his company. So let me play this real quick.
Michelle Lamy, and I fell into a deep, dark rabbit hole last night, finding out more about her. Michelle was born in the 40s. She's around 80 years old. She's worked as an attorney, a clothing designer, a performer, a producer. She was born in France, but has lived in many places, including New York and Los Angeles. And she's the wife of fashion designer Rick Owens, who is also known as the Lord of Darkness in the fashion community. Michelle actually discovered Rick Owens, and a lot of people credit her for his career. One time, Michelle wore his head as a purse. I don't work in the fashion industry, so there's a lot of things that I probably don't understand, but Michelle is very highly respected among her peers and many celebrities, like the ones pictured.
Look, and of course you got the Yays. You see how demonic he is. You got Usher. All right, and then of course, who do you see right there at the bottom left? Because he's into the whole fashion market. He's all about the latest fashion and modeling certain lines. And they give him, they pay him. So he's getting money, but this is how he's doing. He has to emasculate himself. He has to wear whatever it is that they, put out there. Whether it's androgynous, or if he has to just flat out just wear a straight up woman's garment. All these celebrities, they all are bound. They're bound under the left-hand agenda, man. All right.
Here, Usher, Kim Kardashian, A$AP Rocky, and Kanye West. She has a very distinct style. Every morning she draws a black line on her forehead, and she says she doesn't really have an explanation for it. She also stains her fingers black. It has been reported online that Michelle got her inspiration from the Amazigh women, who also used to paint on their face. She's also known for having gold-plated teeth. But the rabbit hole that I fell into last night has people convinced that Michelle is a high priestess or witch of some sorts in the Hollywood scene. Now, I'm not saying she is.
And the scriptures say, suffer not a witch to live. But hey, your entertainers, these artists, they're a bunch of witches too. And that's why they have to be in company with them. And a lot of the times these motherfuckers become their handlers that keep them under these spells. And once they put them under them demonic spells, then they can use them to influence other people. So it's beyond just flesh and blood. Like the scriptures say, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, and you could just look at them. Just look at how they dress, look at their countenance, look at their face. They got the symbolism. It's all dark and demonic.
Or she isn't, and I simply cannot get into all of the details. The information is out there if you want to look into it, but there's so much mystery surrounding this woman. Like I said, she is highly respected in the fashion and art industries. A lot of people really love her work, and a lot of other people are convinced that she controls a lot of what is going on in Hollywood, and that there's something much more sinister going on, allegedly.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure, she's part of the influence on this demon, this nigga. All right, this simp ass nigga, man. Then knocked up and impregnated and married an industry pass around. But you winning because she's a billionaire. So he says, continuing on, it says, for me, it's not fair that my girl could just go in my closet and take anything from it and wear it. He continues, she does it to me all the time. Man, sometimes you just see her on an interview or a paparazzi photo, like, wait, there goes my muy effing jacket. What the F? I was looking for that since 2021. That said, Rocky isn't shy about borrowing items from the Fenty Moguls collection either. That goes both ways, he said, underscoring his point about feeling free to wear women's clothing. She has pieces she don't know that I actually stole. And, from a person whose mindset is warped and, their mind is fashioned after this world, they will see nothing wrong with this. They'll probably think it's cute. But in this truth of ours, the scriptures say to be, totally transformed in the renewing of your mind. Basically not conforming to the ways of this world. Romans 12. Romans 12:2, it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. Let me get that in the NLT. It says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, because it is ruled by the rulers of the darkness of this world. All right. Satan. And our people, that love this world, they're going to follow after the trends and the fashion of this world. That's why you got to come up out of this world. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. For the things of this world, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. All right, and the fashion of it is getting ready to pass away. Niggas wearing gowns and see-through blouses and shit. Grown ass men. Skirts. Man purses. So they're using Jake to get Jake accustomed to, that image where the lines are being blurred between femininity and masculinity. I mean, you can go either way and still feel secure about yourself. That ain't nothing but a seed planted by Satan. It says, but let the Most High transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Don't think like your old self when you was in this world, when you was walking according to the God of this world. All right. It says, then you will learn to know the Most High's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Now, we know what the law says concerning, all right, a man wearing a woman's attire and vice versa. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5. And it reads, a woman must not put on men's clothing, and a man must not wear woman's clothing. Anyone who does this is detestable in the sight of the Lord your God. So, Jake, even though Jake be trying to push trends and, they try to become, these fashion moguls, and they try to make fashion statements. Jake will continue to go against the grain. They will go against their own maker, just so that they can be prosperous in this world. And, Jake and the world might think that these individuals are people to look up to, but at the Most High, he detests them. They're abominable. All right. They're straight up on Satan's side. And even like the Lord said, that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of the Most High. So that goes for the man and the woman. All right. You putting on this weird attire, all right, to appeal to the agenda, and you a woman and you putting on a men's attire, that's nothing but confusion. That ain't nothing but straight up confusion, man. So the Lord is going to deal with every last of our people that's pushing these left hand wicked agendas to our people. And the scriptures tell us, don't envy the glory of a sinner. Let me grab that. If anything, the scriptures say, mark the perfect man, for the end of that man is peace. But don't envy the glory of a sinner. And that's these rap entertainers, these musicians, these celebrities, these actors. You know, they're not to be glorified, man, because they all done sold out. Sirach 9 and 11, it says, envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. Delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. So we know the Most High ain't dealing with these sellout entertainers. The Lord's going to destroy every last one of them. These so-called power couples, you know, the Jay-Z and Beyonce, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky, Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union. Those are all demonic so-called power couples. High level left-hand activity in those unions, basically set up and paired together by the satanic industry in itself. And we know the scriptures say a wicked woman is given in portion to a wicked man. You know, you get to see in real time why it says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Because these women, they're not going to give you the time of day unless you go all the way out in that left hand energy. They're attracted to these successful women. They're attracted to men that are completely left. They got dark energy surrounding them. So, yeah, man, I had to do a quick response, you know, to this madness, because this all goes back to, you know, the satanic agenda of Hollywood. All right, they want men to turn into women, women to turn into men, and they're trying to blur those lines. So, and the Most High is gonna smoke our people, man. So anyway, I'm gonna end off with that. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Shai. To the next one, Shalom.